Go. There you go. Y'all look sharp. I ain't getting me one shirt. They're holding out on me.
Good. Joe, you good? All right, welcome to our Week 5 weekly football press conference. Head coach Charles Kelly joining us. Coach, kind of wrap up the victory last week for homecoming over Murray State. What were the big positives you guys took away?
Well, the biggest positive was, the support of our fans, our students, alumni. I mean, everybody involved. I know our guys appreciate that. I know I appreciate it, and we have started creating a real home field advantage here. And it's good to see the people, and I know our players appreciate that. They value that a lot. We're very thankful. I was really proud of our guys, not for the result of the game, just because we improved in a lot of areas that we need to. Our focus was on becoming a better team. We had to, offensively, we had to execute better. We wanted to get better in passing efficiency, because we know we got to do those things down the road. We had to improve in tackling on defense, eliminating explosive plays. So we did that. So I was very proud of our guys for doing that, for concentrating on what it takes to get better instead of just the result, because the results will come when you do those things. We still got some things that we've got to fix. We had more penalties in this game than we've had all year. Some of those were aggressive penalties, which you're going to get when you play fast. Some of those penalties, the ones we've got to be able to control are the ones we can control. The self-inflicted penalty.
So you're playing. Sorry, Coach.
But I'm pleased with our effort. Now it's a new week.
You're playing a Southern Miss team that has a lot of players on it that were on last year's Sun Belt Championship team at Marshall. Give us your overall scout on that group.
Well, first of all, Charles Huff, who he and I worked together at Alabama. I think a lot of Coach Huff. He's a good football coach. He was a running backs coach, assistant head coach when I was there. He did a really good job at Marshall. I don't know what their predictions in their conference. I'm assuming that they were predicted to win the Sun Belt this year, because basically they have the entire Sun Belt championship team that transferred to Southern Miss. So I'm sure they were predicted. They got really good players. They got them on offense and defense. Led by their quarterback. They got good receivers. They got good running backs and athletic offensive line. I got a ton of respect for Blake Anderson, their offensive coordinator. He's been a really good OC and was a really good head coach his own for a long time. They're really active on defense. Again, I think they have 7 starters on their defense that were at Marshall last year. So these guys know how to win. I mean, they've won a conference championship already, and they're by far the best football team we've probably seen. I mean, they got players everywhere.
We'll open up to questions. We'll start here in the front with Max.
Just with it being the final non-conference game, is there something, like one big thing you kind of want to see from your team as you prepare to get back into Conference USA play?
I think the biggest thing for us is we just have to focus at every position of what we've got to do to get better, whether it's a receiver, whether it's a linebacker, whether it's a quarterback. Again, and I don't mean for it to sound boring, but what the grind is, it's boring, hard work. And that's kind of our focus, is embrace the grind. Well, it's boring, hard work, so it's the same thing over and over and over and over that you have to do. You don't change up what you do every week. You got to work at those things, continually. And our focus. Listen, we're playing one of the best football teams we're going to see all year this week. Again, like I said, they've won. A lot of those players have won a conference championship. So, but it's not about the other team. It's about what we do. We got to get better ourselves. That's what our focus has got to be.
Mark?
Your offensive line's only allowed 3 sacks so far this year in 4 games, and 8th in the country in rushing. They're young, but it seems like they're really good.
Well, you know, I say it over and over. You and I have talked many times about this, but there's no better person leading that group than Rick Trickett. And, you know, our players believe in him. In fact, our whole team believes in him. They know what he does, how he coaches. He's a very demanding guy. But our players have played really, you know, our offensive line has played very well too. They respond to his coaching. I do think one of the things that helps us, you know, in the sack category is that we're so consistent running the football. So I think we're creating more balance in our offense, and that's what you want to be. And I said that, you know, when I took the job, we want to be very balanced in what we do, and we want to be able to throw the ball because we got guys that can catch it and make explosive play. We got to be able to run it, but all of that works together to help in the protection.
Just a quick follow-up. Could you assess how Lance Johnson played his first
Oh.
start, and also Jeremiah Orr's status?
Yeah, so Jeremiah, we're probably gonna lose Jeremiah for the season. But we have some, you know, some plans for him. And I hate that because first of all, he's a great young man. And it really improved, was playing really good. But Lance is he's made the right way. He's just that kind of person. He's a very talented young man, but it means a lot to him. And, you know, he was coached very well in high school. I've known Coach Warren forever. I know how he coaches. I know how his players are when they come out. And there's no surprise that he was ready to play. And he takes the coaching. You know, he embraces it. And I remember he was one of the first home visits that I did when I got here. He and Mac were two of the first people that I went to see. And I'm glad to see a guy that has put as much into it as he has, get the results that he has.
We'll go to Ray and then back to
Coach, in the first half, the passing game was a little out of sync. Just ball a little bit right or a little bit left. What does Clint do to change that? Because they got much better in the second half.
Well, I think too, they changed up. I give them a lot of credit too. They kind of changed some of the stuff that they did defensively, which you got to expect that. You got to adjust. I didn't feel like just overall offensively, I didn't think we were very sharp when we came out to begin with. It was almost like, you know, okay, here we go. It was more the attitude than it was, and that affected the execution. But they did some things, you know, they did some drop eight, where they got in some of the windows, some of the stuff that, now we see it because we do it on defense. So our guys have seen that before. It's just, you know, adjusting to it right then. And I think once we got, you know, figured out what they were doing, then we were a little more precise. When they do that, you know, you got to be able to run the ball or check it down and, you know, just take what they give you. Sometimes people are going to do that. They're going to say they're going to die a slow death, you know, and you got to take what they give you. That's the name of the game. But I think that just the way we approached it, you know, I felt like we need to have a little bit more energy, you know, and a sense of urgency. And I think Caleb would probably tell you the same thing.
Coach, it seems like maybe the best two games, especially complimentary football-wise, have been at home. How do you find that success and maybe be able to take it on the road?
Well, and I felt like even the first game, even the UCF game, I thought we played pretty complimentary football. We didn't get the result that we wanted because we gave up some explosive plays in the end. But even though we didn't score a lot of points, we kept the ball a long time in that game. And we had a couple things called back in that game. But, you know, I don't think it's about being on the road. I think it's a mentality of no matter where you play, it doesn't matter if we go out in this parking lot and play, we got to execute the right way. We always want to be able to play complimentary football because that's how you win football games. But there's going to be nights where, hey, the offense is hot and, you know, the defense may struggle, and there may going to be games where the defense is hot and the offense may struggle. And, you know, it's kind of a little bit of when we went on the road, a little bit at UCF. We did a good job of controlling the ball against UCF, but we didn't score a whole lot of points. And it was opposite when we went to Georgia Southern. We scored a lot of points, but we weren't doing a good job of managing them defensively. So I don't think it is about where we're at, where we play. It's just, we just got to execute.
Then through 4 games, I know we mentioned before here a minute ago, but just kind of where do you guys stand injury-wise, especially with Paul? Is he still expected to come back this
Yeah,
week?
we'll see a little bit. AP will get to do a little bit more today. We feel like he's pretty close to being back. I'll have a better idea once today's practice. We practice on, we do a lot of conditioning on Sunday night, and then Monday is the player's day off. So today, once we get back into practice, I have a little bit better idea. But I do feel like he's close to being back. Thaxton, same way. We'll see where he's at. From a practice standpoint, because I'm one of those guys, you can say it's old school, you can say whatever, but the only way you can play this game, you gotta practice. You can't play without practice. We're not professional football players yet. We're college football players, and you gotta practice, and it shows up all over college football. Guys that practice, they play good. Guys that don't practice, they're a step behind.
Mike?
So, back to the offensive line. Coach Trickett is from a different generation than these guys are today. How is he still able to relate or to coach these guys?
Well, the first thing is he does a great job of evaluating. When we evaluate, we don't evaluate just talent. We evaluate the whole person. Do they fit into what we do? So that's the thing. He does a great job. He's one of the best evaluators I've ever seen. So he evaluates the right kind of people that we want. Listen, everybody can't play for us. And that's okay, because there are other places that they can play. And everybody can't play for Coach Trickett. But the ones that do, and I believe our players will tell you that all great players want to be coached. Average players don't want to be coached. So you kind of figure out who wants to do it. And I don't think, I'm from a different generation. I'm not big on, and they laugh at me and some of the stuff that I say at times. But listen, we all get it. We all got the same goal. We all have the same goal, and people that are, goal driven, that are process driven, they want the coaching. So I think no matter what generation it is, great players and want to be coached.
Got a couple in the second row?
Yep.
So it seems like Gavin Wimsatt really had maybe his best day here at Jax State. What improvements have you been seeing week to week out of him?
I think just consistency is number one. Understanding, taking what the defense gives you, not trying to force the issue. Sometimes they're going to let you check it down for 10 yards. Sometimes they're going to let you throw a dig for 15 yards, recognizing and processing, what he sees. And I've told all these guys this: you might not be wrong, but don't be in doubt. Make a decision and go. Same way as a coach when you're calling a play. It might not be the right play, but don't be in doubt about it. Because when you're in doubt, they have doubt, and you can't play that way. But I think he's starting to get more comfortable. I think he's done a great job of taking the coaching from Clint Trickett. I think Clint is a fabulous coach, and I think you can see him developing every week. That's what we want our players to do. You want to be, I don't care how old they are. Our job here is, as long as those players are here, no matter how old they are, is to help them develop. That's our goal.
Got one more in the second row, and then we'll close with Mark.
Hey Coach, little hot topic this season with the transfer portal, right? With both teams seeing a lot of turnover this offseason, how do you go about building a program and going week to week matchups with the transfer portal?
I think as I mentioned a minute ago about Coach Trickett, when we do evaluations, it's not just the athletic ability that you're looking for. You gotta find the right fit, or the right personality. Because if you get the right people in here, you can build a team. And I think maybe Joe had asked me earlier this summer about, transfers coming in. How do you build a team? Well, I went and visited some people in pro ball. I went and visited Pete Carroll and talked to some, because their team changes every year. They have new guys come in, they sign free agent. They have to build a team every year. I think Andy Reid's done a pretty good job. And yeah, they have their core people there, but they're new people that come in. But if you recruit the right kind of people and they fit what you're trying to build, then you got a chance to build your team. The transfer portal, it is what it is. Whether you like it or not, that's the rules. It's here to stay. I can't talk bad about it because I've been the beneficiary of it. But I do think we have to evaluate, do they fit right? Do they fit our offensive system? There are a lot of great players out there that maybe they just don't fit your system, and it might be better somewhere else. I don't buy into I've heard people say, well, our guys don't even know each other's names during camp. These guys will tell you that's not true. We knew, even the guys that came in this summer, we knew each other. We worked at that to get to know each other. So, listen, as long as we know what the rules are and we know what to expect, we can work around it. It's surprises that get you. It's the things that come up where they just say, well, okay, we're gonna do this, and you got a week to, that's the thing that coaches can't handle.
All right, last one from Mark before the guys.
Coach, could you tell us a little bit about the two players that came in today?
Well, Caleb, we didn't know each other. I knew him as a player, but I had not been involved with him recruiting prior to getting here. And I remember the only thing that he asked was, Coach, I want an opportunity. He didn't ask for a number. He didn't ask, promise I'll start. He didn't ask any of that. All he said was, I want an opportunity. And, he's made some big plays for us this week. And it may not show up in the number of yards. It may not show up in 40 catches for 200, whatever. But they were critical. The two plays he made against Liberty were critical plays in that game. And he's been a great teammate. And I get on his butt like everybody else. He'll be the first to tell you. But he responds. If you challenge him, he will do it. And that's the thing that I've appreciated. He wanted an opportunity, and that's all he asked for. Mac was one of the first guys. I think the first night I got the job, I got here on the 22nd, I think. I talked to him that day. I found a crazy story about Mac. I go to see him on a home visit. We have a snowstorm, a blizzard. And to get off of 75, to get to his house over there around McDonough, where he went to school, it took a long time to get to his house that night. When I left his house, what was it, about 7 or 8 inches of snow?
It was bad.
It was terrible. And I drove back, and I was going back to my house. I had not moved from Auburn yet, so I was going to go back there and stay the night, go to Montgomery the next day and see some other players. Well, I got stuck on the interstate. The interstate shut down, 85 shut down, so I spent the night on the interstate in my truck till about 8:30 the next morning. So I will put that in my book one day about recruiting Mac. But Mac he's a great athlete. Played, was a baseball player in high school. Very instinctive. I think a lot of the fans, a lot of the people were asking me about him in the Liberty game. He came up, made some big plays. And, he's gotten his opportunity, and he's bought into what we're trying to coach. And it's just like Caleb, he's one of these guys. All he wanted was an opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks for your time this week,
Thank
Coach.
you.
You guys ready? Let's do it. Good. All right, closest to me, to your left, is linebacker Max Sanders. To the right, Caleb Coombs, wide receiver. Caleb, let's pick up where Coach left off. All you wanted was an opportunity. Tell us about that conversation from your side and kind of where did the inspiration for that come from?
Yeah, well, I played at FAU this last year, and I had a decent amount of playing time, but it wasn't nearly as much as I wanted to really have. And then so I decided to transfer from there, and I talked to Coach Trigger in the portal, and I was just telling him that I just wanted an opportunity to kind of just be the guy. And I known him a while back from Marshall. He was my coach for the 3 years there, so when he told me that, it was kind of a no-brainer.
Great. Matt, kind of talk about your transition going from high school ball to now having a starting role on this defense at college. Where did you make the transition relatively easy? Was there a little bit of a learning curve? How did you adapt?
From transferring or just coming from high school, it's a totally different atmosphere. Just how the game's played, the speed is just totally different. But fall camp really helped me out a lot, where I got to watch the older guys move around. I was going against the starters, so that helped me a lot. And really just the older linebackers, there's some injuries, so I got my chance, but they've helped me a bunch. And the coaches, they have confidence in me, so it helps me a lot.
All right, we'll open up to questions. Max up front first.
Mac, did you know that Coach Kelly got stuck on the highway when he came to see you? And kind of just take us to that night.
Yeah, so, I mean, Georgia, you don't really get a lot of snow. It's every 7 years something happens. So it was that night. I mean, it started snowing. My mom was freaked out, but they were already coming on the way. So Coach Kelly, he's like, I'm gonna make it there, I'm gonna see you. So he gets there, we have dinner, whatever. My mom offers him, like, you can stay here as long as you want. Like, we'll get you waters, crackers to go on the road or whatever. He declines all of that. Actually, I didn't know he slept on the road until just now. He told us he made it home because my mom was freaking out. But I just, literally just now, I have to tell my mom about that. She'll be a little mad about that. It's all right. Yeah, it was a great time. I mean, definitely a memory that my whole family will have.
Austin.
All right, question for both of you guys. You know, Mac, obviously you made your first start and it came at home. Just a question for both of you. What is it like to play in front of the Jax State fans, and how's that experience been for both of you?
It's been great. I love it here. It's the atmosphere, the students, they pack the house here. Alumni's come back. It's great playing here for sure. It helps us out a lot with the fans. They get loud, so, and they give us confidence of how we play. So it definitely helps me out and the team out.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what he said, it is great. And other places I've been, it hasn't been like that, so I appreciate that.
Others? Go back to Matt.
Coach kind of talked about focusing on yourselves and not really worrying about if you're home or away. Just how do you guys maybe take the momentum of last week's game and even 2 weeks, or I guess not 3 weeks ago against Liberty at home, maybe the 2 best games? How do you maybe take that on the road and find that same level of success?
I would say for the offense, just the details and honing in on that, and just playing clean. And yeah, that's really it for me.
For the defense part of it, I mean, we always have effort. We always are flying around. We just gotta just do the details right. Just like Georgia Southern, we didn't do everything right. We weren't fitting in the right places, but we always have effort. I think it just comes down to the details and what Coach Kelly says, dominate your box. If we do that, we'll be fine.
Go to Austin.
Yeah, Caleb, Coach has been very high on you the past 4 weeks, and he's especially mentioned how you're able to sit down and read the defense. Can you just talk about what goes through your head as you're reading the defense and you're running your route to the play?
Yeah, so I've been playing for a while. That's my 5th year, so it took some time. But normally I'm looking at the safeties. I play in the slot, and that'll tell me a lot that I need to know if it's one high or too high, depending on my route, what I'm doing. But Coach Trickett also makes it a lot easier for me too, because I feel like most of the time we're on the same page, and we're speaking the same language, so yeah, it's an easy transition for me.
Another one in the second row.
Caleb, you played for Marshall and FAU,
Uh-huh.
and now at Jax State. How has that journey been? How's your transfer process been? And do you think you finally found a spot here at Jax State, found the opportunity you wanted?
Yes, sir. For sure I do. I think it's been long, it's been hard, but I think it's all been worth it because Jax State. So.
Last call. All right, guys, thanks for your time this week.